This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today, it's Thursday, so of course it's time to dish on Madison's food and bar scene. We're stretching the definition of a food show a bit today, doing a little yoga to include feeding your soul. We are talking about an upcoming festival celebrating Ukrainian culture and what it's like to DJ in Madison's queer spaces, plus a highlight of the new Madison Public Market, which does have a lot of food. All right, joining me now is CityCast Madison producer Jade Isiri Ramos. Hey, Jade.
Hey, Bianca. I'm really excited to get into this jam-packed show.
Yes, there's a lot of goodness today. Madison's 5th annual Ukraine Fest takes place this Saturday, August 22nd, in Olin Park. And unfortunately, the annual celebration of Ukrainian culture, which is such a beautiful thing, is also happening in an anxious moment for Ukrainian refugees in the United States. A little news there this week. The Trump administration is expected to make a decision on whether to extend temporary protected status for 100,000 refugees who former President Joe Biden allowed to come in legally into the United States in February 2022. That's after Russia launched a full-scale invasion of their country. If the Trump administration does nothing, those protections expire in October. Joining the show now to talk about the situation is Allison Suhan, who serves on the board of directors for Friends of Ukraine Madison. Allison, hello. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. So with everything that's going on right now, what is the temperature like in Madison's Ukrainian community? And just like, how are folks experiencing this moment?
It's very anxious, very stressful. Everybody is on edge, pins and needles, waiting for the decision that we expect on August 20th. And as you said, we have our Ukraine Fest coming up on August 22nd. So we hopefully will have that decision right before a festival. So this is usually an exciting time for us. We're really excited to have this festival, but as we lead up to it, we have that added piece of stress where, our community really is worried.
It's just, and I can hear it in your voice, like it's just
Yeah.
so much. And it's been a long, challenging, heartbreaking period. And it just like it continues to be in that space. The Trump administration is supposed to decide, like you said, on Ukrainian refugee temporary protected status by Thursday. So can you give a picture? What will happen if TPS status isn't extended?
As you mentioned, there are right now about 100,000 Ukrainian refugees in the US, and they depend on that TPS status, temporary protected status, to stay here. If that is not extended, 100,000 of them will have to leave by October 19th. And we have dozens of families here in the Madison area who will be affected. A lot of them are already packing because they're afraid they will have to be kicked out of the country. We already have some families who have left. They've self-deported because they are afraid of what happens next. And they're afraid they're not going to find a country who will take them in. Because right now, the situation in Ukraine is dire. We're not really hearing about it in the news anymore, but Russia basically has tried to set a record every month this year on the highest number of civilians it's killing. And so it's not a safe situation for these refugees to go back to Ukraine. So they will have to find another country to take them if that's the case. So obviously this is a very tragic situation. So everybody is nervous.
You mentioned that there's dozens of families here in Madison with that TPS status. What does like community and gathering in Madison look like right now for Ukrainian refugee neighbors?
We have seen a lot of the people in our community already leave, but we really are holding on to each other. Community for us is a big deal. I mean, for Ukrainians, I always say that the number one piece of culture for Ukraine is hospitality. People love welcoming guests. They love feeding them. So as you're talking about food, that is a big part of our festival because Ukrainians love their food. They love sharing their food. So we are used to getting together, sharing food and celebrating culture. But right now there is that little tinge of stress, that little tinge of worry that goes along with it. We have people who are afraid to get together because, they're just worried about what the situation is. or it's really hard for some people because they are very emotional about what's happening, or they're just worried about what's going to happen. Some people, they are getting together because our organization does help with some of what's happening, helping to find resources for the necessities. Just on Saturday, I helped an older couple who needed to do all of the document copying and scanning, and it took about 2 hours at FedEx. We were there doing all of it together. But that kind of thing, we do still try to get together as a community to help, the people who have been here a lot longer. Those of us like me who are not Ukrainian, but still help the community, we are making sure that those people who need it are supported. And that's what our organization does as well.
I think a lot of folks listening here would be like you and want to help. I want to talk about the festival
Yeah.
and the fun things that are happening. And in this moment, how can the larger community help our Ukrainian neighbors, like Jade said earlier?
Absolutely. Call your representatives. The government needs to know that the Ukrainians are supported. There are a lot of petitions online that are circulating. If you sign those, it really makes a difference. They're being delivered to the Department of Homeland Security to support Ukrainians, to say that, they are a part of our community. A lot of these people, they do come here legally. Every single refugee from Ukraine had to have a sponsor in the US. Somebody who's here permanently, either a green card holder or a citizen, had to sponsor them. And a lot of them decided to come to the US because they could work right away. Other countries don't offer that. And so we have business owners, we have people that are employing Americans and paying taxes, so they are part of our community. And calling and telling representatives that, yes, we want these people to stay in our community. They are part of the fabric of our community now. We want them to at least stay until it's safe for them to return home. So call your representatives.
Yeah, I'm just picturing the Statue of Liberty and the idea of the American story and the fabric of this place being a refuge for
Yes.
folks. And I do want to turn back to the Ukrainian Fest, which is on Saturday. And it's going to be, such an exciting opportunity for everyone to cherish and celebrate Ukrainian culture and the contributions Ukrainians are making to Madison. So what can folks expect at the festival?
Sure. Well, we've already talked about the food. Our organization every year makes homemade borscht, which is, you can't have Ukraine without borscht.
So good.
Yes, it is actually on the UNESCO list of cultural heritage things that need to be protected. So,
oh my gosh.
Yes, it is. Come and experience our culture by trying that. And there's a Wausau caterer called Just Right Ukrainian Cakes. They'll be there and they'll have cabbage rolls, just about any Ukrainian staple that you can imagine they'll be serving. Nana's Cafe from the Fresh Mart in Sun Prairie, they'll be grilling up meat, and they have the best shish kebabs you can imagine. And then a local bakery that's just starting out called Grab Your Sweets. There is a Ukrainian couple behind it. They actually will be making American specialties, crunchy cookies. And so they will be serving. Tom's Traveling Coffee Truck will be serving iced coffee. So no excuse that you're not out on the dance floor, that we have a full lineup of performers. Dark of the Moon Contraband is kicking things off. And then our favorite klezmer band in Madison, Yid Vicious, is going to perform for us. And then we have a repeat performer. Last year, the Ukrainian Village Band, or UVB, from Minneapolis came to perform. And before they even left, we signed them again to come back this year because they are so entertaining. Yes, absolutely. You cannot have a bad day when they are playing. And they will also be teaching Ukrainian dance moves. So if you have ever wondered how to do Ukrainian folk dancing, now you can get a free lesson at our festival. So
that sounds like a party that I want to be at.
You absolutely do. And then we also have a totally free kids zone. We'll have a professional face painter there. We will be teaching some Ukrainian poetry, and we'll have crossword puzzles. There will be free arts and crafts projects. For older kids, we'll have henna tattoos. And then we have all kinds of things for sale. We have an author who has written a book called The Harvest Keeper, and it's about her family's history with Holodomor, which is the genocide that was committed by starvation in Ukraine. We also have a local Ukrainian American artist named Marina Gumenyuk, and she has taken a lot of photography in Kiev, Kharkiv, and Sumy, and has done some comparisons with photography here in Madison. And she has just amazing portraits of all of it. And she'll be selling some of her works, and she'll be on hand to talk with some people at the event. So it's going to be really great. And then we have just so many other souvenirs and handicrafts that some local artists and we've had artists from Ukraine give us some things. So there's something for everybody. We have a silent auction that is just full of really cool things. And with the situation that we have with our Ukrainian refugees, there's also a situation with them not having work permits for a very long time. So we have a lot of price ranges for our silent auction. So just about anybody can walk away with a really great treat from our silent auction this year. We also have raffles. We have a special guest coming early in the day. So a lot of things that will be happening on Saturday at Olin Park. We're very excited.
I mean, they just kept coming. I was
Yes.
like totally sold, like just 1/3 into the way of all of the things that you're having. But
Yeah.
I mean, that and just the impact it's going to have in this moment means all of the more.
Absolutely.
And, I think honestly, there's the Ukraine Fest and there's this opportunity to support Ukrainian Madisonians. And then we might carry on. Like folks might forget about this issue if it's not close to home. And so I want to know, how can the larger Madison community support this situation that has been ongoing? And even if the war ended tomorrow, which this needs attention. Fingers crossed, right? It really needs attention for some time to come. Like, what can the community do?
First of all, come to our festival. It's
Party
a great
down.
way. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to be introduced to Ukrainian culture and to meet the Ukrainians that are part of the community. But get involved. Like I said, right now there are petitions circulating to support Ukrainian refugees. Contact your representatives and let them know that you support Ukrainians. There also right now is a bill in the House, sanctions against Russia. You can let them know, if you support that. We really need that bill to pass. Otherwise, we are always looking for volunteers at our organization. We have tons of events. We had at least one event a month this year, and that trend probably will continue. So go to our website, friendsofukainemadison.org, and see what events we have coming up and volunteer.
All right, y'all, you heard the call. Mark your calendars. Ukraine Fest is this Saturday, August 22nd in Olin Park from 2 to 6 p.m. Allison Suhan, Publicity Director for Friends of Ukraine Madison, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. We hope to see you on Saturday.
All right, y'all, we've got more stories just around the corner, so please stay close. Did y'all make it to Magic Pride this year? Over the weekend, several of the CityCast Madison squad were at Magic Pride Fest at Warner Park, a genuinely lovely celebration. If you were, our tent was right across the sidewalk from the stage where several queer-identified artists performed, including our next guest, Tempest Ballinger, a.k.a. DJ Femme Noir. Pew, 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 pew.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Yeah,
Thank you for the
Tempest.
air horns. Appreciate that.
Yes, you deserve. You bring that energy and love so much to our community. So you've been having a year. You won DJ of the Year, literally, at the Madison Area Music Association, the Mamas. You were the Milwaukee Pride Parade Grand Marshal. Okay. How does that spotlight feel?
It has been pandemonium, the spotlight. I mean, I thought it had attention before. It's a lot of attention now, and a lot of spaces that I didn't even knew my existence, and now it's just like, hey, like let's collaborate, let's work together, and things like that. And or just even people that like I admire and like really just kind of coming up to me and like giving me my flowers. So it's been pandemonium, but it's also been very beautiful and kind of eye opening to the work that I have been doing the past 8 years as Femme Noir. So yeah.
Yeah. Because you've been pouring that energy into the community. Like you're bringing the vibes, the love, and now it's coming back. And so it's really thrilling to see, honestly. And you clearly love the art form. How did you get your start DJing? And what do you love about the craft?
I've always been interested in music. My family has always had a very musical background, but my start actually began in Madison 8 years ago through the former MC Audio with Mike Carlson and Brooks and all the other guys out there. But I took lessons, actually, it was August of 2018. So, like 8 years ago, almost to the date, almost. So I took some lessons, and from there, it just launched me into this path that I never even imagined and dreamed of. And it's been so beautiful and amazing. So,
You know, we started this off talking about Magic Pride because obviously that just happened. And I saw your set there. Fantastic. But, you know, like Madison Pride's all year long here. I wonder if your plan is different in a set for like a queer crowd versus like a mixed orientation crowd.
I think the music definitely differs for queer crowds versus like, what was the word that you used there?
Mixed orientation.
Mixed orientation crowds, yes.
That's a title.
That is, that's a new one. I'm going to add that to the list for sure. The ACT words of the day. But no, I think for queer crowds, they definitely want more variety, more dancey, upbeat, like club anthems, if you will, but also just like kind of like the offbeat, like lesser known artists, especially like upcoming artists like, like Kane Colto and, even I would say like Young Miko. There's so many other queer artists out here, Duran Bernard. So folks really, for me personally, I think it's more of a challenge because it's like, they are like your oldies but goodies or those top, or those sets that you do top 40s or something like that. But like queer crowds, they challenge me because they want something different. So
I love that. I saw a photo recently of like a whole group of queer DJs in Madison, and it gave me so much happiness and joy. I was like, there's actually a community here of that.
yeah, absolutely. So many, I mean, just across the board. And I mean,
Sarah
there's so many.
Aqua and Hattie Chamberlain.
I was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say, oh, you're saying the government. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, DJ Huxin. I mean, there's there's St. Cats, there's Drip Sweat, so many queer DJs out this way. Of course, Fuzzy Duck as well, John DeLuke. I could go down the list, and I know I'm missing so many people, so please don't. I'm sorry to those who are missing at this point in time, but yeah.
Yeah.
DJ Bunk, but I know that they just moved, but still, yes.
Yeah.
Them as well, too, so.
Yeah, well, it's awesome. Thank you for giving some more folks their flowers here. I think that dancing together is just one of the most healing things and getting out. And Madison doesn't have that many places to dance, but where are the places that if someone's looking for a fun night out should be at the top of their list? Somewhere to be free to be and welcome and like just, get their happiness and their cup filled.
I think top of my list for sure would be Five Nightclub if you're looking for like drag and a dance floor afterwards. That more downtown, looking at Tavern Nikaya and also Cardinal Bar. Cardinal Bar has so many different so much a variety of like DJs that come through there as well. Also, again, talking about queer DJs, shout out to DJ Milbot who has Hot Flash every first Friday there. It's free from 7 to 9:30, and anyone that has been, it's wild, but it's
hot.
definitely, yes, it is very hot.
Literally
put the hot in Hot
and
Flash.
metaphorically.
And truly.
Emily Mills has been on the show talking about roller derby when I pledged I would be in that. I'm just not quite batty enough for that yet.
The many lives that Emily Mills has led, absolutely. But no, I mean, Cardinal for sure. Like, there's so many different dance parties there. There's Dream of a Disco, Hot Flash, T for T, which is a fundraising event for various trans individuals in our community or organizations that help LGBTQ folks here within Madison. So, and then there's also my night. I'm there every fourth Friday. Joining with me, DJ Huck Sin as well. So like we are collaborating on fourth Fridays now to bring some dance parties. So trying to look at that early evening spot as well. So stay tuned for that.
My peak going out and dancing was when there was like always Hot Summer Gays once a month at Robina Courtyard. And I have been like searching for that vibe somewhere else, but I haven't found it. Have you found that vibe elsewhere?
I think that vibe is currently in the process of being built. I think COVID kind of changed the way that we go out and the way that people party, if you will. So I think one, it requires a lot of like notice for sure. Like people need to know at least a month out before an event, which makes sense. Obviously, we have different schedules and budgets, etc. But have I found something that captures that magic? No. And granted, I don't know if we're supposed to capture that exact magic. I think we're supposed to create new magic. But have I created that or found that? No. But when I do, I'll let y'all know.
Yeah, please do. But I like that. I like that. Like, yeah, we don't need to be searching for the past. We're finding new magic.
Yeah, and that requires DJs to get in touch with what people on the dance floor want now. So that requires us to like be out there and actually, read the room, if you will. So you can't read a room if you're not looking at the room, if you're not paying attention, if you don't know the room. So I think having smaller, more intimate events at this point, so you kind of get to know your crowd a little more, and also the people get to know the DJs too, because it's also on that other end. People are just moving into town, and they're like, "Who do I go see? Who do like? What's new or what's popping?" Like, that's what people are looking for.
Well, you are one of the things that are popping. And
Thank you.
Yeah, and I realized I didn't ask about, what is your style? Like, what could folks expect from a set? Because I assume people are going to want to come and hear you DJ.
Absolutely. It really depends on the event. I like to consider myself open format. But I mean, like, my top genres, I love, like, house. I love dancey music, top 40s, hip-hop, and R&B. Like, I just like to mix it up. I'll throw in some Jersey Club. I'm literally kind of all over the place, but it really depends on what the crowd is feeling. Like, for example, if I'm at Hot Flash, I'm going to do more throwbacks. But if I'm doing more of a younger crowd, things like that, yeah, I'll play the stuff that's kind of more so on the trendy side.
So when you hit the dance floor, let's say you're hitting the dance floor right now,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want to hear?
What do I see? I'm all over the place.
I was
It is.
excited when you shared some artists earlier.
Yeah, no, if I'm on the dance floor though, I really want to hear some Doechii. I just want to get me up and going. Yeah.
I need to have something behind that.
I really like Zara Larsson. I don't know. I think her music's been real fun. Always Beyonce of course. But just anything that's upbeat and it's just gonna lift that mood up and just kind of make me forget about my problems for a little bit and be present with the people around me on the dance floor. So.
Yes. Well, before we let you go, where can folks find you? Like, where are your upcoming sets? You mentioned your Cardinal nights. What should folks know about where you're going to DJ next?
My next set will be at Tavern Nikaya on August 28th, about 10:30 till late. But again, you can always find me fourth Fridays, not this specific month, but fourth Fridays at Cardinal, and then I'm sporadically at 5 Nightclub. So, also shout out to Gamma Ray Bar, check them out as well too. Shout out to Kev, love you. So yeah.
There you go, Tempest Ballinger, aka DJ Femme Noir.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you for the love. Appreciate it. And thank you all for what you do too. And always wishing you the best with the show. So.
Coming up next, we'll be talking about the public market. It is here, but first, we're going to take a quick break. The Madison Public Market, after literally decades-long wait, is finally open. The market canceled its grand opening on July 22nd in the wake of the fatal police shooting of Corey Ruiz. They honored that moment and stepped back, but the market still opened. Instead, they had a quieter opening a week later on July 29th. And Jade, you've been to the market. You have to tell me everything. I am genuinely curious. What is it like? What did you think? Give us the report.
I'll just say there's so much potential, but most of the vendors are still working to build out their spaces. So the space is a bit of a construction zone. There's like temporary barriers, plastic sheeting in several of the stalls, but the vision is there. Like, you can just tell it's going to be so cool once it's all realized. But the vendors who are there are like really rocking it. So on the retail side, there is Love You Madison, which is like a candle and sort of like crafty area. Isthmus Yarns sells yarns, unique hair accessories, and more, which
they sell hair accessories.
And like things to take care of your hair. Ancestral Tribe, which sells clothing, and QB Magnetic Creations, which is a jewelry company. So those are the retail businesses in the spot. And then for food, there's Caracas Empanadas y Mas, Sin City Smash, Servato Wine and Tapas, and Chocolate Shop Ice Cream. And Chow Patty, which is an Indian restaurant, is set to open this weekend. And when I was there, I saw my friend and yours, Noodle Perdomo, who is the co-founder of Sin City Smash, and he was on his way to a break, and he was like, how nice is this that I can go take a break? I'm not, stuck in a truck, working my tail off.
Sweating the balls. Like, literally, sometimes I feel bad for them because I'm like, it's got to be so hot in there. But they're doing what they love. But now there's this different format. It's really exciting and thrilling to see them getting that space and getting to evolve. And I'm sure that's true for these other vendors in this space, which when you were listing them out, I'm like, okay, well, I can just go move there because they've got candles and empanadas and like everything I need.
Yeah, and some of the other highlights that aren't vendor specific but were really cool is the bathrooms. I love a public bathroom. I think we did a Hacks of Madison situation. I was calling out where I love the public bathrooms. Add Madison Public Market to that list because they have really nice single stall bathrooms with like the sink in the stall. It's so nice. You have your privacy. Love it.
Oh,
I know.
Okay, Lux.
They also, like, on the wall, they like teach you all about the amount of water that it takes to go to use the restroom, which I love, a little educational moment in the bathroom.
Sustainable. I'm just gonna do that throughout the whole thing.
But the small sticking point, and I don't mean to be this person, but you have to pay to park.
Oh.
I know.
Okay, so you need to roll up on wheels in some way or a bike, and by wheels, I'm talking about any kind. Yeah, that's tough. Or walk there if you don't want to have to pay.
Yeah. So it's $2 per hour, and the idea behind it, according to reporting in the Isthmus, is the money will go, some of it will go to Park Mobile, who's the company that the payment is run through, and then the rest goes to the Madison Public Market Foundation to support their work, doing things like helping out first-time business owners get space in the market. But the internet also has thoughts similar to me, which some people are annoyed, saying that they'll bike or take the bus or that they won't go at all. But then others are simply like, it's $2. Like, I can pay $2.
We're not used to any sort of friction now. Everything is frictionless, but I mean, there is the genuine affordability component to it. But we should mention it's right by the bus stop, but it's not the most walkable place and area, but it could be worse. Yeah. Trade-offs.
And it's also, I think this is sort of the Madison is growing. And when you become when a city grows, you have things like paying to park. Like, I'm not going to go to Chicago to do something and not expect to pay $20, $30, $40 to park in Chicago. So it's I don't know, what's $2 for an hour?
Yeah, I think the Field Museum in Chicago, when I parked there, was around $50. And I had a friend tell me they parked at a Brewers game in Milwaukee and it was $42. So that's just facts.
Yeah. It's part of the growing pains of being a growing city. But Bianca, when I was there, I ran into CEO Keisha Harrison and operations manager Steve Sisson, and they told me that almost all the spaces are filled. All of the food spaces filled up. They know who's going in there. But there are still 2 retail spaces left, which means there's one for me and one for you. So I've been thinking about what I want in my space. If you could dream up anything in the world, what kind of retail vendor would you want to see in your space?
Oh, that's so wild. I do think that this question has come before me in the past, and I've said I would be like a tarot card reader. This time around, I've been thinking about it like karaoke, maybe like a karaoke bar, because, you know, I love to sing. I love other people singing and like just people, you know, getting down and singing their little hearts out.
I love that. I love that idea too, because I think it's like there is like it's so open space, and I love the idea of like there being music that is like being put up, like, you know, it's the community who's there jamming to their songs.
Dance Revolution in the corner,
Yeah.
like it's the party stall.
Okay, I'm right on here with you because I want like a wall of skee ball. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be fun? Just like a stall that's full of skee ball. Just go and, I don't know, maybe you could like win enough tickets to get like a free Sin City Smash Burger.
Oh my gosh. Okay, ideating. This is why you've got the powerful brain. This is so fun. I love dreaming with you. And I will say we are going to be covering the public market more on this show, including on our social media channels. So talking vendor highlights, tours, and more. So be sure to follow us at CityCast Madison on Instagram and TikTok. It's time. We're there. Do you know
on
that?
TikTok.
We're
Follow
on
us.
TikTok. Jade Iseri Ramos, CityCast Madison producer. Thank you so much for being here.
This has been so fun.
That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm/Madison. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with someone who likes to get down, who knows how to have a good time? All right, but for real, help spread the word about CityCast Madison. Share this out to your best friend, share it out to your mother, share it out to anyone you think would like this content. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and thanks for listening.